So we've all been making fun of Kamala for not doing interviews. Trump was showing up on podcasts and streams, getting millions of views, being personable, charming, and natural. And Kamala was dodging questions from a friendly press. We figured their strategy was to hide her for as long as possible, and like Biden, she could just ride the Trump hate into the White House. But then we got what we asked for. The Harris campaign announced a media blitz, and by all accounts, it didn't go well. I wasn't in the military, but I don't think a blitz is where you blow yourself up. So why did they do it? Well, either they're desperate and are pulling out all the stops, or they're doing so well that they can afford to make their candidate look stupid in public. Let's take a look and you let me know what you think. The thing that people loved about Trump's appearances were that many of them were on long-form podcasts, so Kamala decided to follow suit. The show she picked, Call Her Daddy, the most listened to podcast by women on Spotify, a show where 30-year-old women in sweatpants sit crisscross applesauce and talk about boys. It's basically R-rated sleepover gossip. The show first launched on the Barstool Sports Network, which is the male version of the same thing. But then it went to Spotify and now Sirius XM Radio, so now it's also the most listened to podcast by horny truckers. The host's first question was the one on everyone's mind.
What made you want to do Call Her Daddy today?
Speaking of grown women doing sleepover gossip, she also went on The View, where one of the hosts accidentally asked Kamala the most brutal question she's gotten. Here's the clip as posted by the Trump War Room account.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Yes, her answer was so bad that the Trump team turned it into an ad. They didn't even have to add scary music. She also went on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, who has finally completed his transition into a more feminine Rachel Maddow. Congrats, Steve. He opened with a nod to 60 Minutes, showing that he was doing his job as a journalist.
We invited Kamala Harris to be our guest this evening, and she accepted. That interview in a moment. In the interest of fairness, we also invited former President Donald Trump to go himself.
They shared a beer.
Cheers.
There you go.
And Kamala told us all why she's on the ticket.
Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
The clips are getting decent views, but I have a feeling they're not going to be as big as this one from a few years ago. Or even this one. The most controversial interview has been her appearance on 60 Minutes, a segment in which this answer...
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
Was replaced with something slightly more intelligible. Both versions got passed around the internet, and Trump said it was so flagrant that CBS should lose their broadcasting license, which would be a real tragedy. Then there'd be nowhere to watch NCIS, NCIS Los Angeles, NCIS Hawaii, NCIS Sydney, NCIS Origins, NCIS Tony and Ziva. Not to mention FBI, FBI International, FBI Most Wanted, FBI Rhode Island, FBI Shooter Grooming, FBI Groypers for Harris, and last, FBI Pet Detective. CBS is the #1 network in the coveted demographic of boomers washing their dishes. That's what it was designed for. When you turn your TV to CBS, the volume automatically goes to 100%. But if Trump gets his way, network TV will all be Lee Greenwood concerts and 90s wrestling reruns. Actually sounds kind of nice. According to the campaign, Kamala hoped that the media blitz would help her connect with younger voters, Black and Latino audiences, and older Americans. But it looks like there's one group they haven't been getting through to. Men. To remedy this, they're doing a few things. First, they sent out Everyman's hero, Tim Walz, to do an interview on Everyman's favorite TV show, Good Morning America. He also did events in Michigan targeted at Black men and will go pheasant hunting with social media influencers. They did a World of Warcraft stream last night on the Kamala Harris Twitch channel.
But yeah, if Tim Walz were to play WoW, what class would he play? What do you think, chat? I'm thinking warrior.
But my favorite is that they sent Barack Obama to talk to black men because, in his words, the brothers aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. He thinks black men don't want to vote for Kamala because they're not comfortable with their masculinity, unlike Barack, who takes his masculinity with him everywhere he goes. They also released this ad about how real men aren't afraid to vote for a woman. And we've got every type of Democrat man. We've got a fat gay guy in a cowboy hat, or as I call him, broke back size of a mountain, who looks like he's outdoors for the first time this year. We've got this guy who looks like he's indoors for the first time time this year. And of course, monkeypox Tobey Maguire. Though there was one type of male Democrat voter they forgot to include. Keep in mind, these are the most manly men they could find for the casting call about manliness. So I think it's safe to say that they wouldn't be doing this stuff if things were going well for them. If there's anything funnier than watching Republicans try to pander to protected class voters, it's watching Democrats try to pander to men. But underneath all the pandering, there's still the seething hatred. Overall, the media blitz failed, as will the man pandering. But they'll keep trying, because whatever the public polls say, the internal polling must be brutal. They need this to be close enough to cheat, but it looks like they're struggling to even get to that point. At least that's how they're behaving. I'm still not making any hard predictions, but they seem way more scared than Trump does.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you! There it is.